It's processing right now.
Okay, there you go. It just went live.
Okay, hi everybody. I'm Bobby. Brian, do you want to introduce yourself?
Hey, I'm Brian Swan. What's up?
And I'm Paul.
All right. Yeah, we're a bit rusty, everybody. Sorry, this is our second episode, but in a way, we are supporting resistance, combining almost 50 years industry experience into this channel. We're that old. So
yeah, but divided by 3, we're not.
That's true. That's true. But anyway, yeah, our goal here is to provide an objective, perspective analysis, reviewing fundamental news as well as technical analysis. So we're going to be digging deep into the charts, staying true to being objective, data-driven, and honest as we can about the industry. So that's why we decided to come together to produce this channel. So anyway, we're going to start with a little, before we get into the fundamental action, we're going to start with a little bit of the buy the rumor, sell the news. And I'm going to hand that over to Brian to talk about a token that he's been trading lately. So.
Yeah, when you look at the chart here, this is a perfect example because we kind of talked about Wan Chain for the last really the last week. And this is the daily here. So we just, we kind of broke out to the upside right here on all of this rumor. I mean, I heard different rumors of different things. It was Wan Chain's going to get together with Binance. There's going to be a partnership and all this other stuff. And it went, and then people were kind of taking profit, that kind of thing kind of in there. Then it went back up, and then they had the call this morning. So he actually had the news, the actual news. So as you can tell, this is a perfect example of buy the rumor and sell the news. And this big red candle tells you why. Because unfortunately, I mean, it could go the other way. I mean, the news could have came out positive, and then everybody would have went gangbusters to the upside. But most of the time, it gets hyped up pretty well, and then the news actually drops it back down. So you had a nice, ugly red candle if you were long this market going into that call. So just wanted to show a perfect example of that buy the rumor, sell the news.
Yeah, because Brian, isn't it true that most of the time what happens is that the price is getting baked in, the news is getting baked into the price as things are going on, and then after you hear whatever the announcement is, it's like, okay, that wasn't as exciting as it should have been.
Yeah. I'm getting feedback somewhere. Somebody getting feedback?
Nope, that's because your YouTube show is actually is alive, so you need to mute it.
It was muted.
You sounded clear on our side.
Yep. Okay. Sorry, guys. I'm starting to get into that matrix. It's starting to scare me. All right. No, but it's true. Like you get up to that point where people start talking about the actual news, and if it is the news, then most likely it could go up a little higher, but it's already kind of baked in. But it's the opposite that said, okay, well, there wasn't what everybody expected, and then there was a pretty good sell-off, so it dropped off pretty good. I don't have the percentages on here, but if you were long, you got hit pretty good. So it's just sometimes you just got to take that chance, sometimes you don't. So.
Hey, Brian, do you mind just giving a quick run through on Wan a little bit? I mean, I don't really have that much understanding of what that project is about, and
I don't either.
Why everybody was getting excited. Also, is this merely just a technical trade?
Yeah, If I go back to my chart, let me pull that up. Really, what it was mainly, if you look at this just on the daily here, you can just use this as an example. Go into the just taking a normal trend line here. It was a technical breakout that was really why I was in it.
Okay.
Because momentum came in at the breakout, so it was more of a technical move than anything else. But the technical breakout could have come from people talking about possible partnerships. I don't know the detail of the partnerships, but if people were talking about it, it could have been enough impetus to bring enough buying interest into the market. So really, it was a technical trade for me.
Oh. Great. Okay, I think that's our main kind of buy the rumor, sell Well, I guess we kind of have XRP a little bit. I mean, there's another, Coinbase listing that just happened a couple days ago, and or I'm sorry, not XRP, Stellar. And I think that's another example there where the Coinbase effect is really losing its hype. And to me, it's very interesting to see it actually pulling back to lower Fibonacci levels. And I think a lot of people, I think we saw maybe a little 10 or 13% spike right before the listing, right when the news, was released. And then we're seeing a pullback in Stellar ever since then, people taking profits. So, it might be an end of the era where, any Coinbase rumors in the past used to be double-digit pumps right away easily, and now we're not seeing that anymore. I don't know what your guys' thoughts are on that.
Yeah, I think for the most part it's losing its power, right? And I think that's primarily because the market has adjusted to it. So we see all of this news come out, especially with these listings of coins on these platforms, exchanges. And for the most part, it doesn't pack the same punch. And that goes with almost any of this news that we're going to see here soon, is that, I mean, if half of this news came out back in the day, this market would be rallying like crazy. So,
right.
Yeah, I'm wondering if it's something along the lines of once you kind of get into that top 5, I think it would be more reactive if they came out with something that somebody wasn't expecting, like an up and coming company that had a low market cap, and then it came on, and then everybody jumped on board because they wanted to be on it. I could still see maybe that kind of thing happening, where you got your 100 to 200 level market cap people, and then they come up with some technology that fits real well with some partnership or something, and they bring those on. Who knows? You might be able to get a kick out of that, but I'm with Paul and you guys and you, Bobby, because I think it's kind of it's lost its luster, put it that way.
It has, so which is disappointing for those of us that like to take advantage of that buy the rumor, sell the news, right? So, but anyway, it could just that's another sign of just the industry maturing as well, right? So the speculation or the overhype and the kind of the pump and dump. I mean, obviously, we're still seeing a lot of pump and dump schemes out there, but
yeah, there's still thousands of coins to do that with.
That's true, but it's really good to see though that the market is starting to mature and people are, starting to be able to distinguish. I think the valid projects from the ones that are just have no hope. So it shows that the market space is getting smarter. But anyway, with that, I'm going to turn it over to Paul, and we can run through some fundamental news as well.
Sure. Yeah. Thanks, Bobby. So again, we want to try and cover, 3 of the big news stories that sort of happened this week, and there have been some really good ones. If we start out with what I think is very interesting, because in this community, we got so many people that talk about shitcoin, especially my good friends Meltem, Demiris, and Chill. They talk about shitcoin waterfall all the time, and it's true. But
shitcoin waterfall.
That's what she calls it, shitcoin waterfall. It's hilarious. I love them. They have What Grinds My Gears, a great podcast. Love listening to both of them banter back and forth that podcast. But anyway, the point that I'm getting at is Ethereum. The big news that came out was the SEC chief confirmed that Ethereum is in fact not a security, which pissed off a lot of people in crypto, I know for sure. So again, I'd be interested to see what you guys think about that. But let me show you just this one quote. It says, the Securities and Exchange Commission Chairman Jay Clayton has formally confirmed existing staff analysis that Ethereum and other similar decentralized cryptocurrency assets are not securities, even if they were initially sold through an illegal security offering. That's from the SEC chair. Crazy, right?
No, was it? Okay, I got to take a step back here.
Yep.
I saw the actual statement that he made to the public. Yep. He never really mentioned any coins whatsoever.
No.
So where was this, like an internal quote that he was saying to his people, or
no?
I was confused on that.
Yeah, that one's straight from the article itself, and that was
okay. So I just missed it then.
Yeah, he said Ethereum, and the key to this is Ethereum and other similar decentralized cryptocurrencies are not securities, even if they were sold initially as illegal security offerings. That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's a big signal to the market, though. Again, if that news would have come out a few years ago, this thing would be rallying by hundreds of thousands. This is just nuts, right?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I guess I don't understand the backlash behind it. I mean, I think maybe is it a backlash in terms of people that just don't support the Ethereum project and think the Ethereum project is a bit of a, overhyped, and or is it because of the fact that people are not agreeing with the definition that the SEC is using to define whether something is a security or not? Do you
it's a little both. It's a little both of those. It's the fact that, one, I think people, rather they admit to it or not, do not want to see Ethereum listed as not a security. So it's a pride thing, an ego thing, right? Because they've been calling it shitcoin forever, and now all of a sudden it's not, and so they're pissed by that. But it's also because they're saying that they're using qualifiers that just doesn't make sense, right? It's obviously these were securities, is obviously they didn't pass the Howey test. So what gives, and why are they now saying that Ethereum and other decentralized cryptocurrencies, even if they were illegal at first, are no longer securities?
And I think, like, when you look at the Howey test, the decentralization of the coins is what really determines the difference. But like you said, it's going to be what they say, but it'll be a tug of war back and forth.
And so if we look at the next sort of bombshell news article that came out for the week, stock market analyst, crypto skeptic Mark Faber buys his first Bitcoin, and his quote is this: "I bought Bitcoin for the first time 10 days ago. It's not certain, but possible that Bitcoin will be the standard for money transfers." Crazy, right? Again,
it is crazy because, like at the beginning of the show, we kind of talked about that we're old, right?
Yeah.
So we do have experience. I've been around a while. I've followed Mark Faber for a long time. I've actually liked him because he was a very strong contrarian in the market.
Mm-hmm.
But what really gets me is he's a conservative guy when it comes to investments. And it's kind of an interesting. I mean, I've always liked his doom, gloom and boom newsletter, Dr. Doom, all that. But for him, for somebody like that you put in the category of a Warren Buffett, that's not Warren Buffett, because he's probably worth 30 or 40 billion. I don't even know how much this guy's worth, but it's those kind of people that are these huge skeptics at first. I think this is bigger news than what is really. I think there's something behind this that I can't put my finger on it, but Mark Faber's buying Bitcoin. That's weird to me. I mean, I think it's a good sign. Put it that way.
Did the article go into how many Bitcoins he purchased, or was it just?
No, it's not.
I would love to know his wallet address.
Yeah, me too.
I'd like to follow that.
Yeah.
But yeah, good old Mark Faber, man.
Yeah, I think it's great news. Anytime we bring credible people in the traditional finance space coming over and giving Bitcoin and the other cryptos a test, it shows some credibility, right, for the industry, and that's what we're waiting for. It's still startling to me that no matter what positive fundamental news we have coming out, it has zero impact on prices. And it just shows you how tough it is right now, technically, on the charts and within the market.
Infrastructure is being built. I mean, it's getting done. I mean, I like these little stepping stones that we're seeing. Morgan Creek Financial finding pension funds, and Mark Faber coming out and buying, and we're talking about NASDAQ and Bakkt and all these guys that are Fidelity, all these people that are behind the scenes doing all this stuff. Yeah, the price isn't moving yet, but there's infrastructure being built, and that's what makes me kind of happy for the future.
Yeah,
I agree. I think this is if you're an equity analyst, let's say, this is right now, prices and cryptos. This is where, you know, things are definitely undervalued, right? And at some point the prices will catch up to fundamentals, and I can't wait for that to happen.
No, I agree. And so the last sort of, you know, big news article for the week, and again, you know, sort of talked about it last week a little bit, but, you know, they're talking about it more. Facebook coin, which I like to call Zuckbucks, by the way, could boost revenues by $19 billion. Now, again, with this, you've got, so this is from the article. It says a March 11th report from CNBC revealed a few positive thoughts from financial powerhouse Barclays on the matter. So this is Barclays speaking about Facebook coin, Zuckbucks. According to a note to clients from Barclays analyst Ross Sandler, CNBC said Sandler forecasted as much as $19 billion in additional revenues by 2021 from Facebook coin. You got Sandler also added that Facebook has David Marcus, a previous top brass at PayPal, to help with its new endeavors. Now, here's what everyone needs to remember. David Marcus was where? Coinbase, right? And he was with Coinbase, was on the board, and all of a sudden, abruptly, he said, I gotta go. And that was after he left and went and joined with Facebook. I guess the news came out, they started talking in terms of Facebook, and it was like, wait a minute, if we ever want to list our Facebook coin Zuckbucks on Coinbase, I got to go because that's a conflict of interest. And he stated, the reason I am leaving the board of Coinbase is due to conflict of interest. Here we are now. We now see what this conflict of interest was, and that's Facebook launching their own stablecoin. So we get, you know, pay attention to what happens in this market because it always has a signal on future implications.
Yeah, and I don't know what to think about this one. I struggle with this. This is a tough one for me. I'm in this space for privacy, and this is kind of the opposite to that to me. I know they got to use it for different things, but to me, it's a data grab. It's a I don't know. I see pros and cons to it. I see both sides. So I know there's that tug of war going on, but I like the privacy reason of decentralization and being your own bank and all those kind of things. And to me, this is kind of the opposite. But
that's what Zuckerberg says. The Zuckster said, hey, I'm all about privacy and decentralization now, right? Trust me.
Yeah. I'll trust that. Yeah, but I mean, to bring the mainstream in to know what's going on, even in the crypto space, and just get the news out there is a good thing. It's the privacy side that I struggle with, just from a personal, you know, I'm in this space for personal reasons on the privacy side. So there would be a lot of people on the other side that could be doing backflips on that kind of news. So I can see pros and cons with it.
Yeah, well, CZ said any news, basically the news. He says the JP Morgan coin and the Facebook stuff is going to bring more awareness, blah, blah, blah. So he's all about it, you know?
Oh, yeah. And as soon as Facebook has a coin, Google's going to have a coin. Yeah. And everyone's going to have a coin. So so what's yours going to be called there, Paul?
I have no idea what Google's going to be called.
I was thinking a SpongeBob coin.
No thanks. I don't
need it's got to be like crypto curated or something, right?
The CC coin.
No,
yeah, I
had
to bring up SpongeBob again.
You know, I think it's important in order to have a thriving ecosystem, you have to have multiple players in the ecosystem. So, you know, a lot of people back in 2017 were complaining about futures and derivatives and institutional money coming in and centralized exchanges and et cetera, et cetera. But at the end of the day, in order for a whole industry and ecosystem to be built, you have to have a lot of multiple players in it. You have to have people who speculate in order to get efficient pricing, you know, on coins. You have to have traders, right? You have to have your data scientists, your PhDs, you know, building out these projects. You have to have the infrastructure to support institutional investments as well. So I think
it's a spectrum.
Yeah, I mean, you got to have, you know, and everyone's going to have their own ideas on how much privacy is really needed, you know, and how much decentralization is really needed in different markets. Not everyone is going to need ultimate privacy. Not everyone's going to need ultimate decentralization, right? So I think more the better, in my opinion. So
yeah, no, I agree.
Oh, makes sense.
So what I want to do is I'm going to shoot through a few other articles just again to show folks the magnitude of what's happening with adoption and acceptance. So if we look at this section, there's really a lot of things that happen that I think sort of get glazed over because a lot of people are not paying attention to it. But listen to a few of these headlines. For instance, we've got Bumblebee, the largest seafood provider in the country, right? They are now using blockchain for supply chain purposes. You got IBM, who's offering nearly twice as many blockchain related jobs as trailing companies. Cryptocurrency will lead the way in Africa for like an African renaissance, according to Marcus Swanpoel. You've got Binance CEO highlighting luxury property auctions, accepting Bitcoin and Binance Coin. And that's interesting to note, is that they're accepting Binance Coin. You got PolisPay partnering with Dash for MasterCard payments. You got HSBC seeking banking partners in South Korea to launch Voltron blockchain platform. You've got Vonage subsidiary receiving a patent to secure voice communications on the blockchain. You got Spanish stock exchange going live with blockchain collateral pledge certificates, French court clerks using IBM blockchain for corporate registries. And the last but not least in the acceptance and adoption section is Cisco has sent out a report that says 10% of the world's GDP will be stored on blockchains by 2027. Now that should move the market, right? Come on.
nothing is going to move the market.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
You
know what I think? I think what's amazing is the whole blockchain just movement and all these different industries getting finding use cases and finding economic use cases as well to move over to the blockchain space. I mean, this could be a thing that could save us from an impending, global recession in the near future. Like something this dramatic, like all this happening, all this economic activity that's happening on the side could definitely save a lot of areas from economic disaster. So
yeah, definitely. So I always tell people within crypto, two things you want to pay attention to, and this is the news that should be moving the market and that the market will eventually adjust to. Regulation, legislation, custody, right? So if you get the regulation together and you get custody together, we should see some movement. So under the regulation and legislation, we had Colorado that exempted cryptocurrencies from security laws, and we had the CFTC chair say that blockchain and cryptos are two key phenomenons transforming today's market. Again, you got the security folks and the commodities folks. It's crazy.
Hey,
right?
I got to think about that. Colorado.
Yes.
Just gave me another reason to move there.
That's right.
For what? I mean, there's plenty of reasons to move there.
Yep.
But they just gave me another reason. And another thing, I put out a tweet last week to Caitlin Long.
Yep.
Because she was in Wyoming. I think she's on the Blockchain Alliance or the co-founder or something. I think that's what it's called. Apologizes if I say the wrong thing. But I put on there that they passed this like 13 different laws, I think, or something like that in Wyoming. They're like the Delaware of cryptocurrency when it comes to corporations, all that kind of stuff. So I said, I wonder why Wyoming is that state, because it's basically a block, like blockchain. Twitter just blew up with that thing. It was awesome. But here, hey, get me here. Colorado, stepping it up here. They're right below. They're shaped like a block. Do I see a blockchain? Come on. All right. I know it's cheesy, but
it was good. It was good. It worked.
Hey, I like the block states, starting us off on this blockchain.
It makes sense.
How many extra followers did you get from that?
I don't know. A lot.
Right.
It was actually, out of all the tweets I've done over the last year, that one was by far the most engaged. And it was just it was like a dad joke.
Right.
And I'm a dad, but I mean, it's a dad joke, but I mean, it blew up. It was kind of fun, actually. A lot of the comments I got and people DMing me saying, good job, that was funny, that kind of stuff. It was kind of fun.
Yeah. And so with that, we talk about custody, right? So Swiss Online Bank integrates Bitcoin custody to offer services to institutions, and IBM is quietly entering the crypto market custody market with tech designed for banks. So again, you got IBM, you've got these Swiss banks that are working to help custody crypto. Again, if we can get this solved, it's going to be huge, very, very huge. Okay, last couple ones, stable coins and futures and ETFs. On the stablecoin side, this one was very actually interesting. And unlike the positive news, this should have tanked the market, right? Tether silently updates its terms. USDT, which is Tether's, may not be 100% backed by fiat. If that news would have come out a few years ago.
Okay, what? Okay, I didn't follow this story. What else is it backed by?
Nothing.
Nothing. Is that
No.
so? There wasn't anything else.
No,
okay.
No. They're just saying that they're saying 100% of the tethers are not backed by fiat. In other words, we don't have enough money in the bank to cover all the tethers.
Okay, I didn't know if there's like other something that was backing it besides fiat. Okay.
No. That should have blown. That should have destroyed the market. We should have tanked massively, been down to 1800s or something like that. And nope, we just stay flat. And then CBOE putting the brakes on the Bitcoin futures listings. Okay, again, another news story that should have had some impact when futures got announced. Market apparently rallied. Now all of a sudden, CBOE is saying, we're not going to have futures, and it's undetermined how long we're not going to have futures. And again, the market is sleeping.
I think on that, like the CME group has a pretty good foothold in that market right now, and it's definitely got the volume and it's working pretty well. So it's sort of like, they got the 2-foot putt. I think the other CBOE is just conceding to CME group, said we're conceding. You guys got that market. We don't need it.
Yeah, no, I agree. All right, that's enough of that news stuff. Let's hand it over to you, Brian. Hook us up with the shout outs.
Yeah. Let me share my screen for my shout out here. I am shouting out. I'm shouting out Niffler.co. The Niffler group over here. This is basically my screen. So you can see. I'm up 3.5% on my trades on the going through here, but really what Niffler is if you really want to trade cryptocurrencies and you're just trying out and you want to try some of your different looks on the charts, or you want to trade without really putting money in, this is a great site to go in, and it's free. You go in there, they give you $100,000 to start with. You can actually I think they have like 12 different coins you can work with, and you can actually put your cells in. A couple of things on here. You can put in your trades. When they say leaderboard, they have competitions, so you can actually get in with a bunch of other people and just compete with them and see how well you do against others. They've had 3 competitions. I've been in the top 10 on 2 of them, and then I was in the top 15 out of 100 in the last 3. So I did pretty good in the competitions, but I didn't hit the podium to get the prizes, because they actually give good prizes for first, second, and third. So it's a great place to try your luck, see how you're doing, look at your charts and all that. I think it worked out pretty good.
Awesome.
So and the guys that run this site, just really good guys. Go sign up for Niffler, man. Try them out.
Sorry, I don't know if you guys noticed, I got kicked out of the YouTube channel. Yep. And I'm just seeing it right now. So,
did you see anything I did?
I'm looking at looks like your page on Niffler right now. So. Oh,
so it's a back up? All right.
Oh, yeah, no, you were fine.
Oh, okay.
Bobby,
okay.
All right. Well, I just want to make sure Niffler gets shouted out, because they're good dudes, and I don't want to diss them here and not get it out there.
Yeah. No.
So is this is this an exchange, or what's
actually they basically, if you go in and trade, like in the trade section here, they have a list here that you can actually trade. So you have all the all these pairs are the ones they have set up that you can actually trade, real time.
Okay.
So you can actually go in and trade different ones. So if you wanted to buy Bitcoin, you put in the orders here. You can actually share your trading view charts with the community, because there's a whole bunch of people in here, and people can follow you and watch each other and that kind of stuff.
How do you see liquidity? Like, where's the order book and stuff like that?
They have. I mean, you could go in. Each cryptocurrency has a place to go in at, and then you can actually pull up each cryptocurrency.
Okay.
And look at. There's different places you can go for any of the information that you need.
Okay.
So you just got to kind of work through the areas and that kind of thing, and then you got the competitions where they've had 3 so far. They've all been concluded. So they have, like, on this one. I got hammered on this one. That was the one I didn't do as well. But this was in a down market, so the 2.4% was awesome compared to everyone else. So it's kind of cool. You go in there and just kind of and it's tied into TradingView. You can work your charts. You can share your charts with others. I've done 106 trades. I got 23 people that are following me. I'm following 6 people. My last trade, I bought 159 Ethereum at 139. Those kind of deals. So it lists all your trades. They have it's a social community. It's kind of fun. Go in there. They actually touted out our show. Yeah. We got our show here, Support and Resistance. So rock out, man. So nice. Go check them out. It's free. It's a great place to learn.
I like it. And the one thing I like about it especially is, versus like TradingView, it's hard to see who's really reputable, right? That's putting out TA. And it looks like a site like that, you can see what traders are actually performing and how well the performance is. So
and once you get your 100,000, you can't reset it. So you can't say, you can't just go back to 100,000 and say, look how I'm doing. If you're losing, it's going to show you're losing. So it keeps the history, which is cool.
That is cool. Okay. Do we have any other fundamental news or?
Well, we got anybody else want to shout out? I'm sure Niffler's not the only people that want to get shout outs. So let's who wants to go next? Paul, you got a shout out?
Sure, I can go next. All right. So I'm going to see if I can do a little screen share too, since you did a little screen share.
Hey, I'm moving up in the technology department. I'm learning as I go.
All right, let's see if this works. Okay, so if you guys are seeing that screen, that is ITrustCapital. What folks need to know about ITrustCapital is that if you are a trader, and it seems that we are part of a huge trading community, right now there's no way for you to trade where you're not going to get dinged on taxes. But coming soon, you will be able to. You can trade within your IRA or 401k by using ITrustCapital. These guys are amazing. I took a trip up to California to see them. Awesome team. Morgan, Blake, those guys are great. So what I'm requesting people to do is just go to their website, put your email in so you can get notified when they go live, because when they do, this could be a huge benefit if you want to really build your wealth, because you can do so by using this platform. And like I said, right now today, there's no way to do it. I mean, you could trade like GBTC, but you can't trade cryptocurrencies in any type of portfolio unless you're using something like ITrustCapital. So that's my shout out. You can follow them on Twitter at ITrustCapital. They're on Facebook, LinkedIn, the whole 9 yards with the same one, ITrustCapital.
Do you have a referral code or anything that we should be using?
I don't have a referral code, believe it or not. I would just say go talk to them. Go to their website, sign up, put your email in.
Okay. Well, I'm going to give you a shout out in my email.
Sweet. Exactly.
I have a partial shout out. I'll go ahead and share my screen here. Let me know when you guys can see it.
Yep.
Okay. So my shout out is to a derivative exchange that's based in Singapore. They're called Bybit. They're currently setting me up on the exchange right now. I'm not fully, my account isn't fully set up to trade yet, but what I'm excited about it is being able to use leverage, and also finally being able to short the market. And that's something that I haven't been able to do as a trader, mainly because I don't want to use BitMEX. And so Bybit is competing directly with BitMEX in the Southeast Asia market, and they're coming out with a full tool set. Right now, you're only able to trade Bitcoin and Ethereum, but they're going to be launching Litecoin here shortly, and they're going to be adding additional coins as the year progresses. So there's going to be a lot more interesting contracts that you can use, but that is going to be my shout out for this video.
Awesome.
Okay. So with that, how about we hop over to a little bit of the charts? Unless we have
is it Bybit.com or what's the site name?
Sorry, yeah, it is Bybit.com. Yep.
Yeah.
All right, cool.
And I'm gonna run through a little bit of the curated TA before you guys jump to the charts.
Oh, yeah, sure.
This is a way for us to understand sort of what's happened in the market this week and sort of look at the price in action. So on Monday, Bitcoin was trading at $3,869.71. The week before that, it was at $37.12. So there was an actual increase. On Tuesday, it was $38.88. And the week before that was $37.37. So again, increase in both directions, week over week and day over day. By Wednesday, though, things changed up a little bit, and we saw it dip down $38.73. The week before that, it was actually higher. On Thursday, we were at $38.65 or 66. Previous week, we were higher than that. And then, of course, today, the market seemed to be moving a little bit. This morning, it was at $38.82, and I think we're at 3,900, somewhere around there right now. So
yeah, right around that.
Yeah, we're seeing some movement in the market. Now, the narrative around all this price action, here are just some of the headlines to lead us into a discussion. So from William Suberg from Cointelegraph, his headline was Bitcoin enters the 6th day of stability as analysts predict mixed mood in Asian markets. That started us off on Monday. Godbold from CoinDesk talked about a Bitcoin bull market that it was just $350 away. Cole Peterson from NewsBTC talked about a Bitcoin being stable above 3,900, but analysts was cautious on the current Bitcoin price action. And Nick Chong, of course, from NewsBTC was talking about Bitcoin's RSI could rally into the halving, pushing Bitcoin to 8,000, but he only gives it by mid-2020. So I want to know what your guys' thought is on Monday and what the chatter around was on Monday.
8,000 by mid-2020.
I know, mid-2020.
I'm talking about, how about mid-June?
Yeah.
Yeah, let's talk about mid-June 8,000
hey, go take
this year.
Yeah, I'm not hanging around until 2020 if it's going to take that long.
Hey, but it could, that's what a lot of people think, that, we could be in for a long ride.
I mean, we talked about that last week. The one, what was it? Godbold was talking about being $350 away from a bull market. We kind of talked about that last week with that moving average that's just above us in resistance.
Yep.
I think that's what he's talking about. And if we can get above that, we can get some psychology going on the other side, get some buyers in the market.
Yep. Are you talking about the EMA 200?
I think it's actually, yeah.
The EMA 200, right?
I think it's a simple 200 on the weekly. The
Okay.
EMA, I think, is on the bottom.
Okay.
But one or the other, they're both, 200-day moving averages.
So by Wednesday,
or week moving averages. Sorry.
Yeah, that's okay. By Wednesday, Yuval Gall from Crypto Potato, of course, he was talking about a Bitcoin consolidation could end soon, but in which direction? So he was wondering, because we are in this tight trading range. Godbold from CoinDesk talked about Bitcoin will soon see a bull cross in first since August of 2018. Dalmas from NewsBTC talked about worries of fake Bitcoin volumes could derail the Bitcoin bulls. PH Maduro from CCN talked about a Bitcoin price rally could be on the last legs. And that was from a Bloomberg analyst warning that. And Colin Muller from Crypto Globe was talking about where's the price headed, right? And Cole Peterson, of course, NewsBTC, talked about Bitcoin short positions rise as Bitcoin faces growing resistance at the critical 4,000 level. So today is Friday, but I think we're still battling some of these same headlines. I think some of them are still true.
Yeah,
So,
no, I agree with that. A lot of these are very, not much different, but yeah, I think that a lot of these are true.
yep. And then by Thursday, of course, we had Philb, that's his name on Twitter.
He's the one that made that bet, right?
Yes, right. We made the bet with Leah.
Yeah.
He said Bitcoin price analysis pressure is building. And again, I think the pressure is building. It's getting really tight. And Kargadbo talks about Bitcoin trading flat while altcoins tease a bull breakout. And we've been seeing this altcoin party happen. And of course, by today, Jeremy Wall, he was saying Google Trends, altcoin related search volume just outnumbered late 2017 numbers. Is that a bullish sign? And so
buy the rumor, sell the news.
Well, then if that's the case, then you talk about us taking a dump. I don't like that. That's not good.
No, that's true. That's true. The Philb thing from News BTC.
Yeah.
All right. He's the one that made the bet for 1,500, correct? And he's writing an article that says pressure is building.
Right.
No comment.
Yeah, he's crossing his fingers. I can tell you that.
Yeah, I know. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, but look at it like this. We begin to see what people are saying. This is why you have to be careful with these headlines and what people are saying, and looking at this and looking at their calls over a length of time to determine sort of who's really talking true and who's not, right? And not dogging them out, right? Because again,
no, I was only kidding.
Yeah, no,
I'm not discounting what he's saying. I was just messing with him.
Right. And to be honest, I mean, pressure's building. I mean, the thing could go in either direction. Which way is it going to go? And this is what you guys will tell us here by talking about your charts. But I'd be curious, what do you guys think? Where are we headed? So
we'll cover that at the end of the show.
Yeah. Good. Okay.
I think this is classic. I've talked about this before. And if you look back in 2015, there's that period of consolidation that the market was in for approximately 8 months. After the major capitulation in January, the market took 8 months to finally change the trend and get into a bull market. And I think we're kind of in that same kind of consolidation period in the market where it could take until July, August. That's the kind of time frame I'm looking at. I'm looking at July, August. Bitcoin is going to start consolidating above and showing support above the 200-day moving average. And at that point we're going to be able to say we're in a full bull market again.
Yeah.
And as far as Paul, just as far as that the one article where you're talking about the bullish cross, that article was talking about the 50-day moving average moving over the 100-day moving average. And if you look back in 2015, I can show this in a chart later as well. Those two moving averages crisscrossed multiple times in 2015. And so just because the 50-day moves above the 200-day moving average doesn't mean it's going to stay that way for the next, 3 or 4 months. So I guess what I'm trying to say is expect over the next, 4 or 5 months, the 50-day and the 100-day crisscrossing each other as the market consolidates and we figure out the range before we reactivate bullish. So
yeah, and use other validation against that. Do some research behind the scenes of what's going on during that cross, right, instead of just the cross itself. So yeah, I agree with you, man. But before we jump into charts and stuff, I got a little quick 2-minute lesson on why we even do TA in the first place. So, like, what is this? That kind of thing. So I got a quick one, nothing fancy. I just wanted to throw it out there real quick. First of all, I'm not a big fan of calling it technical analysis. I'm more of a person that likes to call it risk reward analysis, or even market psychology. And I think we lost Paul, by the way. Hopefully he comes back. I mean, you didn't have to leave, Paul. My lesson's not that bad. No, but really, because a lot of people say technical analysis, and it's just like, I don't know, it's like a kind of a word that has a little bit of a mystique to it,
voodoo science. That's
that kind of thing. So I actually like calling it like risk reward analysis or market psychology, that kind of thing. So, but I know there's math concepts involved and all of that in the indicators. But to me, really, TA is a method of determining the market as a whole is it worth buying or selling? And it's basically these attempts that you're looking at in the market to measure that collective investor psyche is what you're doing, and really finding out the cycle of fear and greed. I mean, that's really what we're measuring. When you boil it all down, it's really the fear and greed in the market, and you're measuring that market psychology. So I've always tried to come up with this really good definition for technical analysis, and this is what I have so far. The art of identifying the force of an emerging trend until the weight of numerous indicators and principles show or prove otherwise. I really like that definition, because it is an art that you're identifying the force of these trends. So you are drawing pictures. So there's that art of that. And that comes with experience of when you draw trend lines and those kind of things to really get a feel for that part of the market. But the other side is the weight of numerous indicators. There is some math behind this. There's algorithms. There's things that you can actually quantify and try to quantify that behavior. So you got a little bit of that art and science mixture. So that's kind of the definition I come up with there. I mean, we're using volume, momentum, different indicators to determine these turning points. But you're going to have critics everywhere. You get them everywhere. Like you said, voodoo, tea leaves. I've heard it all. So why is it good? I mean, why is TA good? So I'm going to say it right now. Chartists cannot predict the future any better than your broker, any better than your spouse, any better than your magic 8-ball, as much as you shake it around. But what they can do better, and this is where I think TA really comes in, is it's better than most things that are out there for me personally, and that's why I'm in this space, is to make a decision about what to do. Buy, sell, or hold. Based on the probabilities of the actions of others, given certain conditions. It's all about the people. It's all about the patterns. The people in there consciously and unconsciously making these. It's that human nature of the market. People trading decades ago. Fear and greed. Today, fear and greed. So what we do is it really helps us make that decision of should we buy, should we sell, should we hold. So in other words, if a pattern on a chart appears and a chartist can create a framework about what the market might do if and when prices break free of that pattern, it does not work every time, of course, but past performance does give us an idea of what will happen so we can do something about it. That's basically what it comes down to.
Yeah, you just got to know when to hold them. You got to know when to fold them, right? Come on.
All right. And who's the one that's saying that? Kenny Rogers. Kenny Rogers. Kenny Rogers was a closet TA guy. Just letting you know that right now. So, nice. But really what it all boils down to is that definition, the art of identifying the force of an emerging trend. That's what we're all trying to do. What makes a good technician? How long is the trend going to go? When's it going to reverse? So we want to either know the reversal or we want to know the breakout. So that's either going to tell us to buy, to sell, or to hold. And that's really what we're in this market for. And that's why I like calling it risk reward analysis and market psychology versus technical analysis. But quick little lesson of what I think TA has a little bit of positive out there. So screw all you people that say tea leaf.
Yeah, I kind of look at TA.
Just kidding.
I kind of look at TA as being, those instruments. If you pretend you're like a pilot, TA is your instruments that allow you to kind of gauge how your flight is going, right? And so
yeah.
Without understanding basic technical analysis, you don't have to be a full expert. I think another thing to note also, Brian, I think that was a great definition of TA, but I think there's another misconception that if you're really a really good chartist, you have lots of experience in TA, that automatically makes you a great trader. And I don't think that's true. I think these are two different jobs, and the TA is a tool set that allows you to identify those overbought, oversold conditions, good entry points, where are the supports, resistances, etc. But trading, there's a whole psychology behind trading. Like, you could have a great technical framework built out, but if you don't have the discipline and the emotional kind of discipline and psychology to make those decisions based on your TA, it almost becomes useless. So
Yep. No, I totally agree.
Yeah.
And just to cap on that is two like you said, it's two different jobs, and one of them is if you want to be a good chartist and draw really good charts and do good indicators, then that's when I recommend going through classes and actually reading textbooks about patterns and candlesticks and MACD and RSI and all that. But you're only going to be a good chartist. If you want to be a good trader, I don't want any of those books. I want psychology books, because you have to maintain that beast inside of you of emotion.
Yep.
And that's what makes a good trader, is when you can train that emotion on the inside while you're looking at the charts of what the indicators are showing. So you got a good point. They're two separate jobs, and there's not very many people that can do both.
Right.
It takes a lot of discipline on both sides, and it takes a lot of experience to kind of figure out both sides. So but there's jobs on both sides. If you want to draw good charts for people, that's a whole different job in itself, and you don't have to trade at all. You can just help other people that want to trade.
That's exactly right. I mean, all of the big investment management shops in the country, obviously a lot of them are fundamentally driven, but they also have technical analysts on site to help identify entry and exit points, based on charts. So
you just described where I work.
All right.
Because I mean, we have a technical analysis side that I run and I head up. And then we have the fundamental side. But that's a good point, because on the fundamental side, what fundamental analysis can't do is capture that human emotion and momentum and trend. And that's why we fill that void on the technical analysis side, bring them together, and fuse a really good output to the clients.
Yeah.
So that's the same thing that's going to happen in the crypto space. That's why I jumped in to help people, because I can help on that side of the world.
That's great.
Awesome, man. Good stuff. What's next?
Time for the charts.
Bring them on.
Brian,
you want me to start? You want me to start with mine real quick?
Yeah,
before you going?
Yep.
Cool. I just got one today. I'm just going to pull up Bitcoin on the if I can figure out how to pull it up here. Here we go. I've been following this one for a little bit, and I'm sticking to it for now. I wish it would go up another $100 so I can take a shot of whiskey, but we haven't broke that 4,000 mark yet. We're kind of around 3,900, but that's okay. We can wait till next week or tomorrow. See, this is a daily chart. This is Bitstamp. This is the one I just drew the chart on because somebody asked for it. So I'm not saying Bitstamp's the one to use or anything like that, but they're all pretty similar in pattern. Daily chart. Way back when we talked about this before, and one of the main things is you had the RSI moving up here with price coming down. So this is definitely a classic. If you were reading the textbooks, that's a classic bullish divergence in the market. Price coming down, and there's just not as many sellers in the market making that new low. So it's kind of that hidden, like, hey, there's some bullishness in the market. So one thing I was watching on the RSI, though, and what I use the RSI for is ranges. I have a range here with the two green lines, this one and this one here. Anytime the RSI is in this zone, which it has been for a while, it's in the bullish market. It's a bullish zone. So when this broke, when we were over here in this area in the red lines, you're in the bearish zone. As you can tell, the market's coming down, and we got into really oversold conditions down here. It's when it popped up and it held right here and broke up into this area right in here. Basically, it's right around that low, and then it took off. I actually bought on the breakout here, and I told everybody to. It was right around Christmas time, and then it came back up, and it started to come back down right here, and everybody's like, Brian, it's going to 1,500. I'm like, I don't know. The indicators just aren't there yet, and I'm sticking to my indicators. And one of the reasons that I kept in the market, and I actually told people to buy here again and press your position, is because on this RSI, moving out of this red zone up into the green zone here, this level right here where it broke, it held support on the RSI and didn't break back down into that bearish zone. At the same time, we were the internal market, or the internal momentum trend, or the trend momentum. This is the ADX, and the black line here is what measures the strength of the actual trend. And at the same time this was holding and kicking up, I actually bought at the upper end of this green candle. the crossover here showed, hey, the bulls are starting to take over this market a little bit. So this was my next buy. And now we've rallied up, and now we've been in this area of consolidation. And now, now the key support is this red 61.8% level at 37.77 on the chart. It's tested it a few times. So we got that trench warfare going on with the buyers trying to hold that level. So I'm really watching this level. Momentum's dropped. Of course, right now there's really no trend. It's sideways. So the indicators really aren't giving us anything. So so we've got to wait for some of the indicators to tell us which way this thing's going to go. So right now it's really not giving us that signal. So really I'm kind of watching this. All these moving averages are, this orange moving average here is the 55 exponential, and then we got the 89 exponential. All these other ones, the 8, the 13, and the 21, all broke above the 55 and have still held above it. To me, that's still a bullish sign. I would really like to see some of these other moving indicators get up above the 89. That to me, will be a signal of more buyers in the market, of course, because the price will go up. But right now with everything going sideways, I'm really watching this key support. Now, if this 61.8% level breaks to the downside, we'll get back down to these previous lows right around this 3,600. And that's kind of what everybody's kind of talking about. And if you look at this trend line that we've already started to, buying here on this low, buying again on this low, has created this nice little bullish trend, not straight up parabolic like we've seen over the last who knows when, last year in 17. But it's a nice bullish run. Nothing crazy, but it's still, to me, still signaling that cautiously optimistic that I've been saying for a while. Even if we break down to 3,600, this whole level down here is going to have a lot of buying interest. It's the break of this trend line that I'd be really nervous of. And I think that's going to coincide with the 200-week moving average that we've talked about on the exponential moving average. All of that's going to be right around that zone. If that breaks, you're going to start looking into, if you pull up just step out a little bit and look at the weekly, you're talking all the way back down to at least the 3,000 low where we were before. And then if momentum builds, who knows where it could go after that, because then you're free falling, like Tom Petty, free falling, but I mean, that could happen, So, but right now I'm still cautiously optimistic on the bullish side. So I'm sticking to that call. I know Paul won the bet last week where it stayed in the area of consolidation. So boo to Paul. But
the fundamental guy won.
Yeah, the fundamental guy won. So we're still sideways, but I'm still thinking that we could get above 4,000. I'm sticking to that. And until the indicators tell me otherwise. So
yep.
I'm staying long. So that's what I got for my quick Bitcoin chart. So I can pass it on to you, Bobby, if you have anything.
No, I mean, just real quick. I think you're right. That 200-week moving average area, which is sitting right around $3,400, is going to be a very key support line. I view the 3,400 area as the last line of defense for the bulls. If we have a daily candle close or any candle closes below the 200-week moving average, I'm putting on my bear mask and I'm going short, baby.
Okay. Buy a bear mask. So what's happening? You're doing the whole entire next show with a bear mask on. I'm just telling you. So you better buy one. Just in case. I'm hoping it doesn't happen, but just in case you're wearing a bear mask. I'll find a bull one. And if it goes the other way, I'll wear a bull mask. I don't care.
Sounds good. I'm going to attempt to share my screen. I'm having internet issues on my side, so let me know if you're able to see my chart.
I can see it.
Does it look good? Okay.
Yeah, looks good.
So this is Bitcoin Daily. Really, to be honest, kind of similar analysis as Brian. I've kind of defined an area of the chart that I call the dumb zone. So basically, it's the zone that we've been trading inside of for the last 18 days approximately, which is this highlighted yellow region. So everybody's talking about the $4,000 mark as being this key kind of threshold for Bitcoin to get over. I actually see it a little bit earlier in that. So this 618 Fibonacci level, this is a really key resistance. It's sitting at $3,923 from the December low. And the 618, if you chart back all the way, let me zoom out. If you go back to 2018, each one of these retracements to extensions, all of these are basically at the 618 extension. And we failed every single time in 2008. So I view not $4,000 as being the key threshold. I think if we can get above this, break out of the 618 zone, which is at $3,923, I think 4,000 is a no-brainer. I think 4,000 is more of a psychological, more of a psychological resistance than a technical resistance. So I think if we can get through this technical resistance that we've been stuck in for the last 18 days, and the 618 has been a more than a 1-year battle for the bulls to prove that it can, push beyond and find support above this extension. I think the 4,000 is a no-brainer, and I think we're going to hit all these other Fibonacci's up above. I think the key one above $3,923 is going to be the 4,400. So this is going to be a very key resistance zone. I think you're going to see a lot of short sellers taking opportunities in this region, because if we pull up, let's pull up a moving averages here.
Yeah, when it pops above the 61.8%, do you see sort of a wave type pattern that would go to that first high there at like 4,200, then work its way down and then go back up again to 44? So it kind of be like a wave.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be a
straight shot to 44.
But however, like anything, I've talked about the markets being like energy. The longer these moving averages, these EMAs get more and more compressed, and as we sit in this zone, the next move is going to be decisive. It's not going to be this little technical retest and then
So if you threw Bollinger Bands on it, the bands are getting tight, volatility is really tight, and it's just gearing itself up for an explosion.
Exactly.
Hopefully to the upside.
Yeah, hopefully to the upside. It could go either way, right? But hopefully to the upside. So what I was saying here is I don't see the 4,000 as being this key zone. So we're going to hit this 78.6 Fibonacci level right around 4,140. We're going to test that again. We failed that before, right? And we're going to test 4,400. Now, if we can push beyond 4,400, this is going to be really interesting, because this is where the short sellers are going to be eyeing right here. These two moving averages. So this is your EMA 200 and your simple average 200 moving average. And so basically we're looking at $4,700 to about $4,900 is going to be a huge wall. Essentially, this zone right here is going to be equivalent to our 200-week moving average for the bulls. The bears are going to defend this with their lives, right? And if we're knowing the fact that if we're able to push beyond this little area right here, there's a lot of air from here and getting back to our 6,000 level where we broke through, back in November, December timeframe. So that's kind of how I see it from a Bitcoin standpoint. I'm going to hop over to the Bollinger Bands just because Brian brought that up, and that's a good point. So Bollinger Bands, for those of you that aren't really familiar, this is it's a technical indicator that's been around for a long time. It works across all time frames, across multiple asset classes, and essentially what it's doing is the whole idea is that there's this statistical probability built into the indicator. So the top band here is your upper resistance that's being calculated by the indicator, and it's 2 standard deviations, so +2 standard deviations away from the center line. And then you have the your lower band right here, which is technically your support. And this is -2 standard deviations. So when you think of, like the traditional bell chart, like in your, your statistics 101 class. So this says that 95% of all the price action should fit between these two bands. So when you see price action that moves above the center line here, which in this case, we're looking at the daily chart. So this is your 20-day moving average. Whenever you see a price action like this moving up above and touching your, the top of the Bollinger Band here, this could signal kind of overbought conditions or just bullish momentum, happening in the market. So, and when you start to see the bands getting squeezed, that tells you, that the market is in consolidation phase and your EMAs are getting squeezed, price action's getting squeezed, and at some point there's going to be a decisive move in the market. And your midpoint line here is kind of gives you an indication of where that move might happen, right? So if you're finding that the prices are having issues or having problems moving up above that center line, that could indicate that the bears are in control and that there's negative momentum in the market. If you're finding that the price action is sitting on top of the center line, that shows that the bulls may have an opportunity to take over and explode the upside. So
good. Some more validation against some of the other indicators I'm looking at too.
Yeah,
I like it.
Yeah, exactly. So what I've done here is, everybody is super impatient, right? In markets in general, but especially the crypto market. And anytime prices are moving sideways for more than 3 days, people are freaking out. Now
that's the beast of emotion that people don't know how to tame on the inside.
Right. So Bollinger Bands is a great, indicator to it's a great indicator to use in sideways markets. Okay. Now this chart here, hopefully you guys are able to see it clearly. I've identified essentially the range of Bitcoin, that it's, the sideways range and the resistance line, and then you have the support line. And until this range gets disproven, like you can literally trade this with pretty decent confidence, right? So, for me, if I was looking for a buying opportunity, I'm already long in the market. I kind of bought right around where Brian went long. But if I was looking to put in a fresh buy entry, I would wait for a trend to be built, right? Like make the trend your friend. That's kind of the saying in the market. And right now there is no trend. So there's absolutely no trade opportunities if you're looking to trade smart. And so you either have to wait for a break to the upside where we get through some of this, upper level resistance. So like $4,100 here is a resistance that we failed 1, 2, 3, 4 times. It could be a 5th time. We'll have to wait and see. So
and that's kind of the game that I'm playing at the moment.
Right.
I've bought twice, but now I really don't want to buy any more until I get that signal. But that's just the way I'm playing it.
No,
I mean what you're saying makes complete sense.
Right. And then, if I'm looking to, so I'm already long in the market. So I'm looking at as if I want to reinforce positions in the market, I'm going to wait for either a move to the upside and, we break through like the resistances, like we said, or I'm going to possibly look in this zone right here. Now, the reason why I highlighted $3,400 is not just because it's been a support zone in the past, but this is where the 200-week moving average is. So I'm really keen on seeing how Bitcoin, if it were to break to the downside here, how it handles this region. Now, I'm not going to be one of these people where I'm going to have just naked position or naked orders out there sitting on the order book, hoping, that it hits, because I'm going to wait for, probably a daily candle close or at least a 4-hour candle close. And I want to see how the market responds in this zone before I buy. But, I kind of see those kind of being the 2 major plays going forward.
Cool. I got one request. Can I do a chart real quick?
Yeah.
Kurt out there is asking for Stellar. Since they joined Coinbase this week, new hire announcements today, not much price action. So I wanted to throw a chart up there real quick. So let me
go for it.
So I built it pretty quick, so don't think it's like the best thing in the world, but we'll find out here. Let's see. Share. All right. Can you see it?
I think it's flipping over to you right now. Hold on.
Okay. I just want to make sure I don't want to sit there and talk when it's not there.
Yep. Okay, you're live.
Cool, cool. 4, 3, 2. No, I'm just kidding. All right. I built this. It's kind of messy a little bit, but I just wanted to put some points on here. We had this trend line break here to the upside. It definitely hit its we lost the screen, didn't we? Or can you still see it? Okay, we're good. All right. The breakout of this trend line, this bearish trend line here to the upside, hit its objective, which was good. Worked its way down, hit some steps, came back up here. So now we got this trend line, which broke here, and then this trend line had a nice little market move to the downside, hit its objective here as it worked its way down bearish. So now what we're doing is we're breaking out to the upside here off of this trend line. So just for your first objective, didn't quite get there yet. I still think it's going to get there, and here's why. Couple of things. One, momentum in the market is still very strong for the bulls. Even though the market's coming down, momentum's still staying strong. That's a good sign. I don't think it's going to shoot straight up there, and that's why I kind of put this, this wave here. I think this first little breakout here could be wave 1. We're working wave 2, which is working really nicely because on this 89 moving average here, as you'll notice, I use Fibonacci moving averages because that's what I like is Fibonacci, and they seem to work very well. The 89 here broke out here, and then we're using that as your trench warfare right now, where the buyers are wanting to hold that line. Came down there and tested it and kind of bounced off of it a little bit. So this could be kind of where we're forming this 2. And then 3 will probably take us up to there's some other Fibonacci lines in here I got, but kind of this where this trend line kind of started on this level about 32.43 is probably where this 3 would be, and then 4 would probably work down a little bit, and then work its way up to the 61.8%, which was this high to this low. So this and it's not going to happen overnight, but if the momentum's still staying strong and we stay above these moving averages and the buying interest is still there, I still think we can kind of work our way up here. But the thing that you would probably want to watch for is if you're looking for just a quick look of where to watch, the 61.8% level is right around this 2470. So 2 could actually come all the way down here and still be on a bullish market, which would keep the prices, kind of above these moving averages too. So that would be kind of the area I'm looking at. So we did get this buy the rumor, sell the news kind of thing, even with Stellar. Broke out because that news was coming. Oh, we're in Coinbase, blah, 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 that kind of stuff. And now that they're there, we're like, well, it's not really doing much, so I might want to take some profit. So it's kind of working its way down there. But the internals, from what I can see, just looking at it here quickly, that the bulls are still kind of in control of this trend. So just if you are buying it, and this is not financial advice, but if you are buying it here, the stops would be where I would apply stops would be underneath that 61.8% level. So if you are going long the market, that's kind of that first use protection area. So I hope that helps out on a quick Stellar chart on that request.
That's a good chart. Do you mind if I show you my Stellar chart? Because I have
go for it.
I have a little different perspective on it.
Nope, go for it. Oh, there we go. Kurt's going to get a 2 for 1. Or 1 for 2.
Let me know when my screen is showing. Brian, you might need to stop your screen share.
Oh, sorry.
No worries.
How's that?
I'm just waiting for it to flip over to my side.
Yeah, I clicked off of it, so it should work. I think you're good.
Good? All right, cool. So this is my Stellar. I've been following this for a little bit of time here. And
what time frame is it? Daily? Okay.
This is daily, and I'm using the Binance pricing.
Cool.
I'm not sure what you were using before. Were you on Binance as well?
Yes,
or?
I was. Yeah, I had Binance.
Okay. So my Elliott wave pattern.
Oh, wait a minute. Mine was Stellar to Bitcoin. You're doing Stellar to dollar, so that's the difference.
That's the difference. Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm showing, as far as the Elliott wave, I'm showing that we're either continuing in the third impulse wave, bullish wave, but what I'm seeing is obviously a retracement. So like what you were saying before, buy the rumor, sell the news. If I were looking to go long in Stellar, and I actually think that as long as Bitcoin continues to trend in the right direction, that Stellar will be in decent shape. I'm looking to buy it anywhere kind of in these lower Fibonacci levels. So I actually put a Twitter or a tweet out there a few days ago saying, kind of watch this zone right here. I could see a pullback to, somewhere around like this 50 to 61.8 level. The levels basically you just noted, Brian.
Yep.
So, I'm showing that we're in a fourth wave kind of pullback in the market, and I wouldn't be surprised. Let's see how Bitcoin does over the next week or so, but I wouldn't be surprised if we were to kind of come back and retrace back to the 61.8 to 78.6. So, completing this kind of wave four pattern before reactivating bullish again. So,
cool.
That's what I'm looking for.
Good. I like it.
Also on a momentum standpoint, so the stochastic gave you the sell signal. RSI also gave you the sell signal. So, smart traders that took advantage of this buy the rumor, sell the news. Obviously, in this bear market, anyone is trying to make a dollar wherever they can. So, traders are taking profits right now. So I don't see this as being like detrimental. Like, Stellar is going to crash back down to like December lows or something. But this is just normal kind of profit taking pattern. And I'm looking to be a buyer kind of in this zone right here.
All right.
So,
Cool.
all right.
Cool. Well, it doesn't look like we have any other chart requests, so we could probably give our forecast and opinion for Monday, maybe. Are we doing that again? And maybe wrap this up, or what are we doing here?
I'm ready.
All right. Since you won last week, Paul, you get to pick first.
All right. So with all this news that's been coming out, I was resistance last week, and that wasn't necessarily saying it was going to fall or come down or pull back. I was just saying that we weren't going to see some high spike and breakout. I thought we were going to pretty much maintain ourselves. So with this weekend, things are looking bullish. I think we could possibly break above 4,000 this weekend. So going into Monday,
I'm ready.
I think Brian's going to be taking some shots. That's my call. Brian will be doing shots by Monday.
I was hoping to see 4,000, but it's an empty glass today.
I think Brian should just do a shot anyway. Just, us finishing up our second episode, like.
I got a chaser. And by the way, if Coke wants to sponsor, it's no problem. All right, so you're going a little bullish, huh? I like it. All right, what about you? What about you, Bobby?
I'm still bullish bias in the market. So until we break below 3,600, my bear mask will remain off. So I am thinking in the next. We're doing a show next Friday. Is that right? Or right around that time frame? So wait, are we making a forecast to Monday again, or what are we doing?
Yeah, let's just do Monday.
To Monday.
Oh man, Brian's going, or Paul's going really bullish. No, I think over the weekend we're going to be in the sideways choppy market. I don't think we're going to break through that 61.8% Fibonacci level, and I think we're going to remain in the dumb zone till Monday.
All right, I'm going with Paul. And the reason I'm going with Paul's call is he knows the inside. He's the crypto curator. He sees all every day. And by the way, this whole show is brought to you by Crypto Curator, go out there, sign up for the newsletter. I mean, it is the bomb. I'm telling you. He's in the know. I'm actually going with that for his fundamental reasons and our technical reasons. They're matching up, so I'm gonna kind of keep that bullishness going. I'm gonna stick to what I said last week. I say we see 4,200 by 6 o'clock on Monday, just like I did last time. Because the last 2 days, I keep seeing a little bit of impetus each time. It just has to get just a little bit more, and then once it does, everybody's going to freak the hell out, and it's going to go. Because everyone's like, it's going to be instant FOMO. Like, oh my gosh, it's actually moving. I got to get in. So I'm actually thinking that could happen. Monday might be a little short of time frame, but I'm going to kind of go with that. So
I think that's
I would like to have almost till Friday, but I'll stick to it Monday at 6 o'clock. So,
all right. Well,
since we're all bullish, contrarians are going, sell the shoot on this market, sell it. No, I'm just kidding. But no, I like it. Good calls, guys.
All right. So you guys are a bit more bullish than me, but we'll see who's taking the shot on Monday, I guess, right? So but anyway, so that wraps up the show. Thanks for everyone for tuning in. Obviously the show will be recorded on YouTube for later viewing. So we've outlined all of the supports, the supporting, fundamentals, the technicals, as well as the resistance areas on the charts, as well as the fundamentals. So hopefully everyone got some value, and we'll see you next week.
All right. Peace out.
All right. Bye.